So yeah, the thing I guess I wanted to talk about today is just being a dad, being a husband, and being a man. And I think all three of those things, while parallel, are completely different. They bleed into each other for sure. Um, but nobody, yeah, I just feel like nobody really knows about any of these rites of passage until you like actually go through them. And it's always so interesting when you're younger, before you've ever gone, before you get married, before you have kids, before you become a man, whatever that is to you. But it's almost like we have this weird hollow plastic version of what all these things are because we've never actually like had them before. So like I always knew like, hey, when I was gonna be a parent someday, like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this way and everything I had planned out in my head, right? And it's kind of like that Mike Tyson quote where everybody's got a plan until they get hit, and which is also just life. But I think as kids, because we're so idealistic and we have no like actual wisdom or knowledge, well, we have knowledge, we have no wisdom. Like we know things, but we don't really know them. In some sense, in theory, do, but we don't know the reality of anything. And I find it's like super easy when you're young to idolize, certain situations and fantasize of being a certain person or having a certain life. And it's super interesting to see how like the chips lay for everyone after they've rolled their dice and saw what they could do with their life. I just find it super interesting because like I think at some point for a lot of men, unless you like really took charge of your life and provided direction for yourself and like created a vision and then kept consistency to that, so that way you could actually materialize that vision into reality, I think most people, probably 90% of people, maybe even more than that, maybe it's really only like 5 to 10% of people, but again, I'm just making a stat up here, that probably actually like pursue their dreams and then do it, like accomplish it. And then like, what does accomplish mean? Like, like some some people accomplish their dreams, but they're not a success by definition. So like that's an even smaller margin. But I think most men, unfortunately, live lives of quiet desperation, and they look to other men that are actually like living the lives or living out their dreams and kind of like idolize and put their stock in other men that are actually doing these things, and they like depower themselves and put power into another man, which is like super strange to watch because like the only person I idolize or would want to be like is Jesus Christ. There's no man out there that I idolize being. I just want to be a better version of myself each and every day and try to like embody the attributes, values, and attitudes that Christ had within myself. Like that's what I'm looking to do. Like when I was younger in my 20s, that was a completely different story, and in my childhood, because I wasn't saved back then, and I was very worldly and secular. If anything, I was kind of like more theological than anything. Like I researched everything, all religions, all things, and got blown around by every doctrine of the wind and never really settled on anything in some weird meta way. Like I was just above everything, looking down on it and studying it, but not really sure anybody had it right. I feel differently about that now, and that'll probably be a completely different video down the road. I plan on making a lot of videos, but I got to start somewhere, right? Like I can't be all over the place. So back to my point, I just think that unless you like, unfortunately, have a strong trajectory in life is going to blow you around. It's going to kick you around. It's going to destroy you. You're going to fall apart many, 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 many times. You're going to have to rebuild. And the thing I've found, at least for myself, like working corporate, blue collar, white collar, marketing, whole deal, mental health, cooking, like I don't know, those could be other videos completely. I've done so many professions, that's crazy. But throughout them all, like I never felt a sense of belonging or meaning or like this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. It always just felt like another job to me. If anything, the way I've kind of viewed myself, especially like in the marketing world, is more like a mercenary, if anything, like especially with the way corporate works nowadays, like in startups. You could be in there for 6 months, maybe a year or two before you get cut loose for somebody else. Like there's no loyalty on either side anymore. Pensions are gone. Like the landscape of the careers nowadays are completely different than what they used to be. And unfortunately, it's changing so radically, especially with AI, and there's going to be so much displacement of job opportunities, employment, and work that's going to make people's heads spin within the next 6 months to a year, unfortunately. But without tangenting and trailing, what I'm trying to get at here is, I feel like, and this could be a global phenomenon, but I can only speak personally for America because that's where I live, and specifically what I know. But I can see there's a concerted effort by interested individuals who have collaborated together to ensure that the populace of our country is as distracted, confused, uneducated, and incapable of critical thinking as much as possible. I think the war is in here as much as it is out here in Iran and other places like that. I think at home it's in here, and there's a constant propaganda campaigns, whatever you want to call them, psyops, that are subjected onto us daily. And marketing has a big like connection to all of that. Having worked in marketing, I've been privy to and have seen quite a few things within the marketing world that make me, I guess, just question the craft in terms of its spiritual spiritual like essence in some sense, because like it feels like wizardry, like modern day wizardry in some sense, and good or bad. Usually used for bad because you're manipulating people and coercing them to buy products they probably don't need, because you need to make a profit for shareholders and the company. And now the company exists because it's an egregore and you created it, incorporated it, and put employee cells into it, and now it exists. But again, right, corporations, their main job is to grow endlessly, as if that's like a possibility in a rational, natural environment. Endless growth. Like I don't know anything in nature that can grow endlessly and everything else in the environment is okay for it. Like I can't think of a single thing, right? Like imagine if an animal grew endlessly, like Godzilla, or like Fenrir from Norse mythology, like that wolf that consumes and gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it can like swallow the moon. Like endless growth, I don't think ends good for anyone, because when things get big enough, they consume everything, right? It's like a giant or a Nephilim, or like we go back to the Bible and they talk about, the Nephilim existing and they should have never existed, and then all of a sudden you have this creature that wasn't created for this biome, is way too large, and now it's consuming everything in the area because it should not exist. It's not a part of the harmony of the natural order that was established and created over time. It was just interjected, and now it's ruining the web and the harmony of the environment because it does not fit the environment. And endless consumption literally can only end in the dissolution of everything, right? Like there can't be endless black holes, and that can't work for corporate either. Like all that could come out of corporate ultimately as like an end game of corporate for all companies is that one company owns the ultimate monopoly over all and consumes every other company, and we're down to like either one or a couple, few. Like Walmart's your mom, your dad, your bus driver, your toilet paper, your laptop. Like it's your job, it's everything, like when we get to that point, or Google or any Apple and all these FANG companies, right? Like the big ones. Like at what point in consumption and like mergers and acquisitions, like we're already seeing it with streaming and with Disney, like at what point, and Netflix too, do they like just swallow up the other streaming services, because those services can't survive. So the only way they can survive is by continuing to be an organ in the pre-existing predator that's already bigger. And it's kind of like a sacrifice to going, all right, well, we're not going to become the apex predator, so we'll symbiotically join you so we don't perish, but we'll allow you to consume us so we can live on in you. And like, that's what we're seeing essentially, is like, especially with mergers and acquisitions, which is, right, basically we're just saying we're creating monopolies eventually. You can call it whatever you want. They got fancy terms for everything, right, in corporate, just like they do the military, right? We didn't kill anyone, we neutralized them, right? Like, there's jargon for everything to obfuscate like meaning with words that people don't understand. And again, we're trailing. This is, you'll see this is common with me. I kind of talk about a lot of things. So I'm learning to land the plane here and like really hone in on a point. So let's loop back. My biggest thing is I feel like lately I'm seeing a lot of men personally working like just crappy, non-paying jobs that don't benefit them, don't grow them, that are comfortable and safe feeling. And like, I can understand that, because I remember being in my early 20s and wanting to pick jobs that just felt easy or safe, or like I understood and knew, didn't require too much growth. They still allowed me to do whatever I want and party and do all the young man 20 stuff, right? Which is just immature. And I think what I'm witnessing, noticing about men around me, and even ones coming up, is like, there is this like need or desire or something going on where like men want to carry their boyhood into their manhood. And that's like as best as I can describe it. And right, like there's another term for that, it's called arrested development. But it's like the infantilization of men. And I know women notice this too, because it's like a gaming. So like, this is the first thing, nothing against people that game. I play video games occasionally now with my son and stuff, but I'm really not, it's just not my life anymore. But like in my 20s, yeah, sure, I play games. As a young man, gaming, didn't have a family, working a job, just killing time and stuff. Like, was that the best use of my time? Absolutely not. If anything, I could say it contributed to the very position I'm in life now, because I wasted so much time doing something that was so irrelevant, because I was clinging to my childhood and trying to perpetuate it into my adulthood. And as sad as that is to say, that's what I feel like I see a lot of men doing, especially if you're single. And I get like when you're single too, or like maybe you're at my age, you're like 35, you don't have kids, maybe you don't even have a girlfriend, and you're working all day. Like, who am I to tell you what to do with your time, right? Like, but I don't think it benefits anybody to waste their life working a dead-end job they hate, and then in their free time, their spare time, the time where you could literally be escaping the wheel, that you hop on another wheel until you go to bed, and then it just ensures you're never, ever, ever going to escape your life. And it's like, I feel like that's just a known thing at this point. Like, whether it's substance abuse, whether you're drinking every night, whether you're smoking pot your whole life, whether you're playing video games every minute of every day, and it doesn't end there. There's other vices and whatever. Like, I'm just thinking of ones on the top of my head. You're gonna ruin your life. You're gonna go nowhere. You're gonna do nothing. And unfortunately, sure, we can point to random people who've made something of themselves while they abuse substances. I'm going to say that's the exception, right? Not the rule. And to live your life as if you think you're the exception to every rule, well, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you smash your head up against the wall because your ego allowed you to crash right into your own ignorance or arrogance, whatever you want to choose. That it's at that point that I hope that you're able to recover and humbly move forward with a renewed mind, and hopefully God gave you a wake-up call to change your life, because I know he's done that to me many times. I've had many wake-up calls in my life that have necessitated and fulfilled certain aspects of my growth as a man, for sure. But again, at the end of the day, the reason I had to go through some of those things is because I made poor decisions, and those outcomes coalesced because of choices I made. So like I bought the ticket, I'm going to take the ride, right? So I think a lot of men, either whether it's resentment or the poor me's, the victim card, like we all got a story. I got a story, you got a story, your dad's got a story, your son will have a story, everyone's got a story. When you let that narrative define you for the rest of your life, then you're going to perpetuate that story into your future, and you're never going to change. You're never going to get better. You're always going to be a loser, and you're never going to be a winner, for sure. And I could like wholeheartedly, with love and kindness, whoever's watching this, if you want to be a winner in your life, you need to make new choices. If you know that you're doing things that don't serve you any longer, and you know in your heart every day you're making a shitty choice, then you need to own shitty outcomes. You can't sit there and complain about your life. You can't complain about where you live, what you drive, what you wear, what you eat, who your wife is, how your kids treat you. None of those things, because it's all on you. And maybe this loops back to the, men have to feel like they can do. Well, in some senses, I now I'm looping back around. I can halfway agree with it, because I think there's a victim mentality with men in this generation. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to suck it up and pull it up by their bootstraps. That's not what I'm advocating. But I think that men in this generation have been intentionally defanged and declawed and infantilized, and I don't know if this is due to propaganda, comfort, or hard men create hard times, and weak men create hard times. And I feel like that's exactly where we're at right now. Is like I see a lot of softness, a lot of weakness, and the reason I feel like I can talk about this stuff is I see it in myself. I see the areas where I'm soft. I see the areas where I'm weak. I see the areas where I need to improve as a father, a husband, and as a man. But I'm aware of those things. I think about those things. I try to come up with plans to correct those things. And that's what a man has to do. You have to get up each and every day and say, I'm gonna be better than I was the day before. And I think at a certain point, some men give up for sure. I've seen that. I can almost smell it on a man when his spirit's broken, because his wife is usually taken over, because he just doesn't have that fire anymore. And it's sad to see. I think some men think they still got the fire, or they still hold the pants, or whatever you want to say. And every marriage is different, right? Depends on who's the assertive one, who's the passive one. Other factors, right? Not every marriage is different. But I will say that I think that when men try to perpetuate their childhood into their adulthood, they often look for women they feel like their mom, because at the end of the day, they need a mom because they're not a man. And they're looking for something in a woman that they found in their mother, because they have not turned and matured on the inside into a man. So they're still looking for a mommy. And then, unfortunately, they're going to make a weak leader, a weak father, and a weak husband. And then they're most likely going to be dominated by their wife. And then the wife's going to try to become both the wife and the father at the same time. And then that's only going to cause more problems. And I see so much of that in marriages, where the man has given up, or he doesn't care anymore. And it's really the wife just trying to do it all because dad's checked out or dad's gone. And again, how do you get to that point, right? It's a daily choices, or not even. Not making any choices is still a choice too. And there's that too, paralyzed by fear, overthinking, inability to make a choice or a decision because you actually don't have a vision or a compelling vision for your life or any trajectory. So you're incapable of making decisions because you actually don't know where you want to go. So how could you make a decision that actually sends you in any direction when your compass is orientated on nothing? So this is the type of stuff that I feel like I want to talk about more, and I got to find a better way to structure and formalize exactly kind of what I want to talk about, because I felt like this was a little bit of a free range conversation. I kind of tangented a little bit all over the place while trying to keep a thread of coherence here. But I'm working on it, guys. I'm a work in progress. But I do plan on doing a lot more of these videos. I just have this inner desire and need to talk, and I kind of always have. And I feel like I play these videos out in my head all the time. Like, I'll sit here and think these things out all day. I'll have these entire conversations in my head, but I just don't record them. And I'm starting to think like, it's like I'm essentially just hoarding. Like, I'm hoarding knowledge, I'm hoarding advice, I'm hoarding wisdom, I'm hoarding anything I could give back in my own head, and I'm not letting it out. And if anything, maybe this is a form of therapy for me in some sense. Is like, I've got a lot spinning around in here that I just want to give the world, and it's just spiraling in my own head. And I've decided finally I'm just gonna say it. I've had so much happen. I've had a lot to develop to this point where I've been able to turn on this video and just talk again. In future videos, I'll definitely touch on those things, because I think it's important to be transparent and just provide visibility into my own life, so other men realize that they're not alone, and other men go through the same things you're going through. I know the biggest thing I struggle with at times is I think I'm the only one going through what I'm going through, and like, other men just, they got it good, or like their life's fine and great, and mine's always not, or like, it could be literally anything, and I'll think I'm the only one. And it's funny, because the other day I was at a dance class with my daughter, talking to some of the other dads, and we were all just kind of, passing our dad war stories around, in some sense, of being a dad, having a lot of kids or wife stuff. And it was surprising to just see like how parallel and how much commonality all of us had. Like, we all had our own flavor of the same ice cream. It was just different flavors, but we were all eating ice cream, if that makes sense. Some had it in a dish, some had it on a cone, some had chocolate, some people were drinking a shake, but, right, like, we're all going through it in our own way. And it was just nice to hear how other men were going through it, because it made me feel like, okay, I'm not alone in this. Like, I'm not failing here. Like, it's not just a me thing. Like, this is everybody. But you'd be surprised, like, looking at people, or just seeing people on Facebook or friends, whatever it is. Like, you really don't know what's going on in their life half the time, right? You get this weird one-dimensional look at it, and you're like, oh, it must be perfect. When in reality, you have no clue what's going on behind closed doors, or within their walls of their house, or people that are on the, like, you think their marriage is so good they're ready to divorce, or like, they got the big house, they're about to lose it, or like, this dude's job's great, he hates his life, and he has to work that job to provide like literally everything, and he never gets to see his family. Like, it's just all over the place. So I kind of wanted to provide like a space for men to hear stories about what other men are going through, while at the same time providing like enough value to men on this channel that I'm trying to create, and just let you guys know you're not alone. Like, we're all going through it, and we can all be there for each other in our own way. I'll probably cut this video off now, because I can feel I'm starting to peter out a little bit, and I don't want to keep everybody. So God bless you all, and I hope you have a good day.